Hey everyone, and welcome back to Mastery of English. This is the place where we don't just learn English, we actually experience it through powerful, fascinating ideas. Today in this explainer, we're exploring a hidden world. And the craziest part? It's a world that is completely active right inside you at this exact second.
So, what if I told you that you are not alone inside your own body? Yeah, I know, it sounds a little creepy, right? But it is an absolute scientific reality. Right now, as you're listening to this, inside your stomach, there are invisible living organisms. They've been inside you literally since the day you were born. They're highly active, they're communicating, and as you'll see in just a minute, they are affecting your health, your mood, and even your thoughts. This is the hidden world inside your stomach.
Okay, let's dive right in by looking at the sheer scale of what we're dealing with here. 100 trillion. Just let that number sink in for a second. Scientists estimate there are up to 100 trillion microbial cells living right now in your digestive tract. In fact, research shows the number of bacterial cells in your body is roughly equal to, or maybe even slightly outnumbers, your own human cells. The ratio is somewhere around 1.3 bacterial cells for every single human cell you possess. You are, in a very real biological sense, as much microbe as you are human.
Part 1. Your Scientific Toolkit, Essential Vocabulary.
Before we explore exactly what these trillions of creatures are actually doing, let's equip ourselves with the language we need to understand this hidden world. First up, microorganisms. Let's break this word down. Micro means extremely small, think of a microscope, and organism simply means a living being. So a microorganism is a tiny living thing that's totally invisible to the naked eye. I highly encourage you to try saying the word out loud with me. Microorganisms.
Next, we have bacteria. This is a specific type of microorganism. Now, here's a quick language rule for you. The word bacteria is actually the plural form. A single one is a bacterium, but we almost always use the plural because, well, they travel in massive groups. And while society kind of trains us to think all bacteria cause disease, the scientific reality is that many of them are completely harmless. In fact, billions of them are actually your body's absolute best friends.
Our third tool is the word gut. While this sounds like a super informal everyday word, it's actually used constantly in advanced medical science. When scientists refer to the gut, they're talking about your entire digestive system, focusing really heavily on your stomach and intestines. And the collective community of microorganisms living down there, that's what scientists call your gut microbiome. Then we have digestion. This is just the biological process your body uses to break down the food you eat. It starts the exact second food enters your mouth and continues all the way down through your gut.
And finally, the result of all that digestion? Nutrients. These are the vital substances in your food. We're talking vitamins, minerals, proteins, and fats. These get absorbed right into your bloodstream so your body can survive, grow, and repair itself. Okay, with these 5 terms locked in, our toolkit is completely ready to go.
Let's move on to Part 2, the internal mini-army, inside the gut microbiome.
Inside this hidden city, there is a very clear divide. You've got good bacteria on one side and bad bacteria on the other. And I want to reassure you, not all bacteria are bad. Think of your gut like a massive, bustling city. In this city, you have essential workers, security guards, administrators. The good bacteria are these workers. They are in a completely mutualistic, symbiotic relationship with you. They keep the bad, harmful invaders perfectly in check just by competing for space and resources. So what exactly are these essential workers doing for you around the clock? Well, your good bacteria basically act like an internal mini-army. They break down complex foods and really tough plant fibers that your human stomach alone simply cannot digest. Through a process called fermentation, they synthesize crucial nutrients for you, including vitamins B and K. They physically protect the lining of your intestines from dangerous pathogens, and amazingly, they are constantly communicating with your immune system, actually training it to know the difference between a totally safe substance and a real biological threat. It's just incredible.
Now for Part 3, the twist, the second brain.
This is where the story gets truly absolutely extraordinary. Your stomach doesn't just digest food. It talks directly to your brain. Look at this definition straight from the scientific literature. The gut-brain axis is the biochemical signaling that takes place between the gastrointestinal tract and the central nervous system. What this essentially means is there's a literal two-way communication highway connecting your gut to your brain. This highway is built out of millions of nerves, hormones, and chemical signals. In fact, your gut contains over 100 million nerve cells. It's an independent network so vast and so complex that scientists actually refer to your gut as your second brain.
And that brings us to what is honestly one of the most mind-blowing statistics in modern human biology. Notice the serotonin breakdown here. Now, we generally think of our emotions as living up in our heads, right? But roughly 90% of your body's serotonin is produced in the gut, not the brain, the gut. Serotonin is often called the happiness chemical. It's the primary neurotransmitter responsible for feelings of calm, joy, and emotional stability, and it is being manufactured by the microorganisms living inside your digestive tract.
So the really crucial takeaway here is that this connection is physical and it's immediate. When your gut is healthy, those positive chemical signals travel right up the vagus nerve to your brain, and you feel better. But when that balance of gut bacteria is broken, a state scientists call dysbiosis, the chemical signals change. The harmful bacteria might start to outnumber the good ones. And when this happens, you might start to feel unexplainably exhausted or irritable, anxious, maybe even sad. So yes, your stomach doesn't just control digestion. The state of your stomach directly influences the state of your mind.
Okay, part 4. Tending to your garden, feeding the microbiome.
Knowing all of this, how do we actually take care of this second brain? Well, let's imagine this hidden internal world as a beautiful, rich garden. And this garden can either be nourished or completely destroyed by our daily lifestyle choices. On the left, we see what disturbs the garden. Eating highly processed junk foods or way too much sugar is basically like pouring harsh chemicals onto that soil. Chronic stress directly alters your gut chemistry. And antibiotics, while they are sometimes absolutely medically necessary, they're essentially a nuclear bomb to this garden. They wipe out the good bacteria right alongside the bad. But look on the right. This is what feeds the garden. When you eat fiber-rich, whole foods like vegetables, legumes, whole grains, and yogurt, you are providing the exact substrate, the exact food that your beneficial bacteria need to thrive and multiply.
So knowing this, here is your action plan, because you actually have immense power over this hidden world. Step 1. Eat fiber-rich whole foods. These are known as prebiotics. They are the literal food for your microscopic army. Step 2. Manage your stress levels and prioritize sleep, which really allows your gut's natural repair cycles to function properly. And step 3. Use antibiotics wisely. Only take them when they are explicitly prescribed by a doctor, understanding the huge impact they have on your internal ecosystem. You really do have the ability to make your internal world stronger, more diverse, and more resilient with every single meal you choose to eat.
We're going to wrap up with this final, really powerful thought. The next time you sit down to eat, remember this. You are not just feeding yourself. You are feeding trillions of tiny, invisible lives working incredibly hard inside of you. They are shaping your health, your immune system, and even your daily happiness. So what will you feed them next? If you enjoyed this explainer, don't forget to like, subscribe, and keep mastering English with powerful ideas. See you in the next explainer.